Imagine walking down the hushed hallways of a high school after hours, each shadow looming larger and every echo ringing ominous. As we will see, these ordinary settings can be the backdrop for some truly chilling tales. Today we will be exploring 5 such stories, each with its own twist that will leave you second-guessing. Brace yourself as we navigate through these high school horror stories, some strange and sinister, others eerie and unexpected. Number 1. Prom Night Ghosts Redemption. The lights were dimmed, the gymnasium was decorated with shimmering glitter, and the echoing sound of old-school dance music filled the air. It was the most anticipated event of the year, Prom Night. As everyone was gearing up for the festive dance, an unsettling rumor began to circulate. It was said that every 50 years, the ghost of a girl named Lily, who tragically died on her prom night, returns to the school, seeking redemption. Lily, known in her time as the prom queen, was also the town's beauty. She was the center of attention during her prom night, until a dreadful accident left her burned and lifeless on the gymnasium floor. The sound of her blood-curdling screams and the sight of the hellish fire still haunted the memories of the old town folks. Half a century later, in the same gymnasium, the eerie tale became a horrifying reality. As the dance was at its peak, a drastic drop in temperature drew everyone's attention. Unsettling whispers echoed, light bulbs flickered, and the sense of looming death pervaded the air. Suddenly, the spirit of Lily took form, appearing in her once resplendent prom queen dress, now a ragged and charred remind of her nightmarish end. Nevertheless, the terror-stricken students saw another side to Lily that the gory tales neglected. Amidst her haunting presence, the ghost echoed her pleas for redemption in a voice that was more sorrowful than chilling. She recited a tale of betrayal that blotted her prom night, revealing that her death was no accident. More than anything, she yearned for the culprit to admit his guilt. Among the terrified crowd of students stood an old janitor, his face paler than a sheet of paper. Sweat trickled down his forehead as if confessing his cruel past. Lily's piercing gaze locked on him. Everyone watched as he crumpled in anguish, coming forth to admit his devastating secret. He was Lily's once-beloved boyfriend who had caused the deadly accident out of a fit of jealousy. Lily's presence seemed to soften as the man revealed his guilt. As an eerie tranquility filled the air, the ghost of Lily, finally at peace, disappeared, leaving behind nothing more than a lingering chill. The students were left filled with dread, heartache, and relief. The horrifying tale of prom night carried a weight they would bear for the rest of their lives. This unforgettable night was a chilling reminder that the sins of the past eventually come to light, and even in death, justice can be sought. It was a prom night that would be remembered not for the dance or the glittering lights, but for the redemption of a tragic prom queen. Number 2, Science Project Unleashes Terrifying Dimension. In the quiet suburban town of Elmsfield, high school student Jerry was known for his passion for science. Though unassuming in appearance, beneath his glasses hid a clever mind teeming with curiosity, devoting countless hours experimenting with different scientific principles. In truth, Jerry absolutely reveled in the endless chain of cause and effect, the ebb and flow of the universe that could be explained via science. However, an innocent high school science project would soon learn the terrible cost of toying with the unknown. Armed with his Bunsen burner and pipettes, Jerry had the simple aim of creating a mini electrical generator. As he solidified his notes, his mind fluttered the pages of a musty old tome he had recently commandeered from a car boot sale. The book, adorned with cryptic symbols and complex schematics, was fascinating. After hours of scrutiny, Jerry discovered a rather peculiar diagram describing an interdimensional portal. Laughing it off at first, his curiosity soon got the better of him. Days turned into long, stimulating nights as Jerry incorporated the teachings from the enigmatic tome into his school project. Surely enough, a night of trial and error resulted in a blindingly bright portal manifesting in the corner of Jerry's basement. a gaping maw leading into an infinite abyss. The room crackled with thick static and power, as if the universe's equilibrium had been disturbed. Filled with trepidation, Jerry peered into the portal, his heart pounding in his chest like a drum. He had expected nothing, empty space or void. Instead, unseen horrors lurked within. Entities, twisted parodies of our reality, screamed without making a sound. Their forms were not meant for human comprehension. A sudden flare of energy ripped through the room as one such entity lunged at Jerry, tearing through the dimensions barrier. Its ethereal claw cut through the air towards Jerry, the room suddenly filling with an agonizing scream as the tangible rules of reality were broken. A sudden, sickening splatter of blood erupted from Jerry, painting his lab in a harsh, cruel testament to his hubris. His body turned cold, while the entity disappeared back into the portal just as swiftly as it had emerged, leaving destruction in its wake. Yet, the portal remained, a now permanent reminder of Jerry's ephemeral existence, one infused with the paradox of youthful curiosity and an unforgiving, terrifying dimension. Unheard cries echoed from within, a sinister corral of otherworldly entities trapped within, biding their time for another glimpse into our realm. The terror unleashed in Jerry's basement would haunt the town of Elmsfield, a spine-chilling saga of a high school science project that unleashed a terrifying dimension. Number 3. Locker Room Cryptid's Unusual Friendship. In the labyrinthine halls of East Haven High School existed a terrifying tale of friendship unlike any other. It started off as whispers, suspicious stares, and hushed murmurs among the hallways. Then, the rumors began to take shape, quickly spreading from one prying mouth to another. An eerie presence lurking within the boys' locker room had piqued curiosity and dread in equal measure, but nothing could prepare the school for the uncanny bond that was to ensue. It was typical for schools to instill an all-pervading sense of dread in its students. The pressure, the insurmountable load of work, and the perpetual tryst with popularity. But the terror that gripped East Haven High School was far more sinister. It was nestled in the bowels of the locker room. Students often complained about inexplicable chill winds, clanging iron, and a guttural growl that seemed to emanate from the room's core, as though a demon waged a silent war within. The eerie incidents remained inexplicable until the emergence of a lanky, withdrawn freshman, fondly nicknamed Limbs, who ventured to befriend the unseen entity, the locker room cryptid. With his eyes always buried in a cryptids and legends book and an uncanny fondness for supernatural phenomena, Limbs was drawn to the cryptid like moth to a flame. Every day after school, Limbs would linger around the locker room, his soft voice a constant murmur breaking the creepy silence. To the common observer's eye, it looked like someone teetering on the brink of lunacy, maintaining a one-sided conversation with thin air. But over time, the once hostile locker room started to change. The guttural growls lessened, the clanging ceased, and a weird tranquility befell the room. Unsettling as it was, a strange friendship seemed to have blossomed. Yet, what could be more eerie than a benign cryptid maintaining an unearthly friendship with a human boy? The answer to that came a week before Halloween, when news spread like wildfire through the school. Couched in rumor and speculation, the tale took a turn for the worst when Limbs slipped into an unexplained coma. His rigid body laid out in the school infirmary bore no signs of physical assault. However, his blood was a horror scene, tinted an unholy, chilling black, while several unexplained symbols were found etched into his skin, exuding an otherworldly glow. The last person to see him conscious was the janitor, who testified to an eerie sight. He had seen Limbs standing stiffly alongside an ethereal dark figure within the locker room, the strange symbols flaring up on his skin. No one dared to enter the now forsaken locker room, its silence bearing dread testimony to the horrific aftermath of an unusual friendship. So it was that an inexplicable terror was wrought, binding the school in collective fear. a testament to a spine-chilling friendship between a limber-limbed freshman and a cryptid, leaving behind a baffling situation that sends shivers down one's spine even today. The locker room at East Haven High remains abandoned, its silence broken only by the occasional chilling wind that echoes forlornly in the stale, haunted air. Number 4. Cheerleader Squad's Undead Investigation. There was an old legend that circulated through the halls of Westfield High, a tale so chilling it sent shivers down the spine of anyone who heard it. The cheerleaders, always front and center for school spirit and enthusiastic chants, were known to possess a peculiar and spine-chilling secret. For when the Friday night lights of the football field dimmed and the echo of the spectators faded, the cheerleaders would turn their attention towards their eerie obligation, unraveling the mysteries attached to the undead. Their dark endeavors began innocently enough when Bella, the cheer captain, found an antique necklace during a routine field cleanup. Bella, ever the fan of vintage accessories, thought nothing of it and wore the necklace to the next practice. That night, the locker room flooded with an abnormal chill, and a shadowy figure materialized in the mirrors. The cheerleaders screamed in unison, their eyes wide with terror. Rather than run away, the girls felt an uncanny pull towards the otherworldly commotion. Their curiosity was piqued. They felt a magnetic pull to uncover the tale of the spectral being now haunting their locker room. Armed with a courage seldom seen outside of horror movies, the cheerleader squad set about their macabre investigation. In the weeks that followed, their practices were often interrupted by blood-curdling wails echoing from the walls, chilling gusts of wind whipping about ominously, and their reflections replaced with ghastly apparitions in the mirrors. The girls started to piece together the life of the restless spirit. All clues pointed to a former cheerleader, brutally murdered on prom night decades ago. Her life had ended abruptly, her dreams shattered, fostering an eternal restlessness that had gone unnoticed until now. Their investigation took a dark turn when one midnight, Bella, drenched in icy sweat and trembling like a leaf, confessed that she had experienced a horrifying vision. The spirit showed her a crimson-soaked prom night from yesteryears, filled with manic laughter and grisly violence. What happened next was a blur. Their locker room erupted in a hurricane of spectral fury. The lockers vibrated violently, and lights flickered off and on, casting an eerie shadow play around the room. Then suddenly, all went quiet. They found themselves immersed in a deathly silence, broken only by Bella's horrified whisper. She was betrayed. Betrayed by her closest friends. Their investigations had given the spirit something it had been longing for: acknowledgement, validation of its existence, and a listening ear. However, the revelation about the murderous betrayal traumatized the cheerleaders. The story had taken a terrifying twist, a gruesome revelation that filled them with dread every time they stepped onto the school grounds. The cheerleader squad had successfully plumbed the darkest depths of their school's sordid past, uncovering a tale so terrifying it would forever taint the cheerful chants echoing in Westfield High's halls. The mirrors remained at peace. The spirit's fury seemed to have calmed, but the cheerleaders were never the same. They knew too well how the throbbing vein of terror pulsed beneath their school's seemingly ordinary facade, a chilling reminder of their eerie obligation that lied far beyond performing rah-rah routines. Number 5. Haunted School Library, Portal to Past. The stories about the haunted school library had circulated for years among students, eliciting giggles and skeptical dismissals, until one day when two friends, Tom and Jerry, found an old leather-bound book hidden behind a pile of decrepit, dusty volumes. As they flipped through the yellowed pages, they found it filled with old photos of their school and juvenile handwriting, brimming with notes and stories of past students, some dating back to more than a century. The notes spoke of a secret passageway located somewhere within the library that led to different time frames of the school's history. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, the duo decided to explore. Armed with their torchlights, they returned to the library once night had fallen. They scoured through rows of towering bookshelves, tracing their fingers along tattered spines of forgotten books. Behind a crooked shelf, they discovered a narrow wooden door barely visible in the dim light. Maybe this was the so-called portal the previous students had mentioned. Trepidation grew as they pushed open the creaky door, revealing a long, winding stone staircase that descended into the darkness. With their hearts pounding, they ventured forth, their flashlights illuminating the rough rock walls. The further they ventured, the colder it got, and a faint whispering echoed around them. The hallway ended abruptly, opening into a colossal room filled with more books, papers, artifacts, and several antique desks. On the walls were uncanny portraits of stern-faced headmasters, some bearing familiar resemblances to the current staff. Behind one such portrait, they discovered a calendar from 1897. Could this be some hidden cache, a forgotten room, or a window to the past? As Jerry reached out to touch one of the discarded letters on a desk, a chill swept through the room. The whispering amplified into a cacophony of echoing words, pleas, and laughter. An ethereal figure, resembling a past headmaster who they'd seen in the portrait earlier, materialized before them. The specter glared at them with baleful eyes, waving his arm aggressively, as if scolding the boys for their intrusion. Blood oozing from his spectral form, he reached out for them. Both let out screams of pure terror, dropping their torchlights as they scrambled back towards the stone staircase. As they ascended, they could hear the specter's ghostly bellowing echoing behind them, growing fainter with each step. Bursting back into the main library, they slammed the door shut, gulping air and just glad to be free. Back in the safety of their dorm, they could still hear the blood-curdling echoes of the specter, an eerie reminder of their terrifying encounter. Though scared to their cores, Tom and Jerry had unraveled the secret of the haunted library. It was indeed a portal to the past, albeit one guarded by the angered specter of the headmaster. Their curiosity had upended one of the school's greatest mysteries, turning the laughable story into their bone-chilling reality. Overnight, the library went from a place of study to a sinister portal filled with echoes of the bygone era, patrolled by an eternally enraged apparition. These unexpected high school horror stories certainly keep us on the edge of our seats, proving that even in the most familiar environments, the potential for the eerie and extraordinary lies just underneath the surface. If you've found these chills and thrills enjoyable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling tales. May your dreams be filled with cryptids of unusual friendships and prom night ghosts seeking redemption. Until our next chilling tale, thank you for watching and sleep tight.